Forms Templates section of the Photo Booth Operator allows you to create forms which can then be placed anywhere on your website, and the information can be collected and stored in a variety of options that you choose. When you first click on the form templates, you're presented with a list of existing forms, including their name, when they were created, how many times that form has been submitted online, and if it's more than 0, then you will have the little magnifying glass here option to view details on that, which we'll look at later. And then the usual options for edit and delete. Let's go ahead and create a form from scratch. Creating a form is a 4-step process. All 4 steps must be completed in order for the form to be functional. Failure to complete any one of the 4 steps may reduce your ability to utilize the form. The first step is to get the information about the form. We need to give the form a name. You can provide a description if you'd like. Then we need to decide what size the form is going to be on our page. It can be a full page form. It can be a certain percentage of the page or a certain pixel width. This allows you to place the form wherever you would like on your website. We're going to do here, we have a website that's 960 pixels, kind of the standard, so we're going to make the form 940. That way it fits into our little 960. Then you have the option of deciding what you would like to happen once someone submits your form. And if you select more than one of these, that's perfectly acceptable. The Photo Booth Operator will run through and do each and every one of them. So, when this form is submitted, we can send an email to the attendant, a partner, or a specific user or users. You can select more than one. We can send a text message to an attendant, a partner, or one of the users. Or we can add to one of the email lists that we've created. This is particularly useful and powerful when you are collecting leads. If you have a form on your site outside of the date availability request that we already provide for you, and the best example for that is many of our clients have created a request more information form. You can store the collected information in one of the mailing lists, and then you'll have the full power of mass mailing to that email list just like you would any other. So for instance, we're going to add this to our test list. We then move on to step 2, which is the form fields. There is a separate tutorial provided for the different form field types if you are unfamiliar. These are the same form field types that are utilized throughout the web with some sort of special form fields unique to the Photo Booth Operator. What we're going to do is create a simple contact us form real quick, so you get kind of a base intro to it. Again, there is separate video training if you need to know exactly what each of the form fields do. At the top, we present you with an option to edit the instructions or something that goes at the top of your form. You'll see that there is the little edit box here. If we click that, then we get a text box, and we can type in whatever we'd like, text only. So, please fill out the form below. We're going to keep this really simple and quick since we're training. And you'll see that that now shows up at the top. We're going to collect their name, and so we've got a first name, last name. We'd like to get their email. And you'll see that when we click the email, it asks us if this is a required field. We're going to say yes, because we definitely want it, and we're going to add that field. So you see now it says required after it. If we can get their phone number, that'd be great, but we're not going to force them to. So it's not required. We're going to add it. There's phone number. And then let's just do a quick drop-down box asking them where they heard about us. So many of the fields, especially the common HTML ones, we need a couple pieces of information, and it's extremely important. We need a title. The title is what's going to go above the actual form element, similar to phone number here above. So this we're going to say, how did you hear about us? You must also give a field name. Field names are somewhat confusing for some people. Each one of your form fields has to have a unique name. Now, the ones that come pre-configured, the first name, last name, email, phone, Photo Booth Operator is already going to give it a field name. You don't need to worry about that. Photo Booth Operator will check each time you add a field element to make sure your field name is unique, but you do need to have something in there that cannot be blank. It's basically text only, and totally up to you. What a lot of business owners do is they'll just call their fields A, field B, field C, field D. Some people like to be descriptive. It's entirely up to you. We're just going to call this field A. Now, this is a drop-down box where we're going to have a series of options available in a list that the person submitting can tell us about, and this is how did you hear about us. So, obviously, our first one is going to be Google. We'll also have a direct mail, an email, and friend. Alright, now here on the right you'll see are the 4 options. We also have the little special options here where we can, X obviously is delete, that's a common one throughout the Photo Booth Operator, and then little up and down arrows. This allows you to change the order that these occur in. So let's say we want friend above email. We click up and now friend is above email. We also have the option here to select the default value. The default value is the value that will be displayed by default. People can change that, but it will be the default value. If you don't do a default value, then there's either nothing in the field, or if it's a drop down or select, like in this, it will actually ask the individual to select. We're going to go ahead and leave that blank, and we're not going to require it, so let's go ahead and add this field. And there you see our drop down with our 4 options. Then we're going to give them an opportunity to leave some information, so we're going to add a text area. Our title is going to be please give us your feedback. Again, we need to have a unique field name, B, and we're either going to make it required or not. Obviously, if this is a contact form, we're going to need to know what they're contacting about, so we're going to require it. And you'll see there's that nice big box. You'll also see that while we're showing you here, whenever you hover over one of your fields, you get options similar to the ones with the drop downs. You can change the order, you can edit that field, or you can get rid of it entirely. Since this is a contact form that's going to be open to the public, it's a good idea to put a CAPTCHA on there, keep out the spam bots and whatnot. So we click on the CAPTCHA option here, and you see it's now added with an example of what it looks like. So, if we'd like to, we could preview our form, in which case the Photo Booth Operator will open up a box and attempt to show you kind of what that form would look like rendered out. Not all the functionality obviously will be available, but it'll give you a pretty good idea. Let's take a look at that. So you'll see we have our instructions. Please fill out the form below. First name, last name, email, phone. How did they hear about us? And then their ability to enter the code. They can even click the little refresh button if they can't read the code. And then when we're done, we just close our preview and return to the screen. The third option is your display options for the form. So we can have a background image or color, and the background image will be tiled. That means that it will be repeated infinitely up and down across the screen, or just a simple color. Then we have header and footer. What you see is what you get editor options. If you've not yet viewed the video on what you see, what you get editor, we suggest you do so. This gives you the opportunity to mimic the look and feel of your website. The last thing we need to do is indicate what we would like to occur once the form has been submitted. And we have a couple of different options available to us. We can present a message on the same page that replaces the submit button. So they will not be taken to another screen. Basically where it says, submit will go away, and then whatever message you'd like will be presented. That submit button will be gone, so you don't have to worry about double submissions unless they reload the page and do the whole thing over again. We can redirect to a website address of your choice. Maybe after the contact form you want to return them to the main page, or maybe you have a separate page that you've created for thank you after submission and you'd like to send them there. Or we could present the following message between the header and footer information and display options. This kind of gives you a chance to, maybe you don't have a page to redirect them to, but you would like to, instead of just having the button disappear and have a message, you'd like to give them an actual page. So you use the header and the footer from the display options to mimic your website, and then you add a message here, and it is the what you see is what you get editor, so it can be fully set up as a HTML page. You'll see that we have that coming right up here. There it is, including shortcuts and even templates. So finally, we need to know if you would like to provide any feedback to the user submitting the form. We can send an email to them or send a text to them, and you can use default templates or generate your own. If your form does not request email, they cannot be sent an email. If your form does not request a phone number, they cannot be sent a text. You yourself will receive an email whenever a form is submitted. This gives you an opportunity to interact with your customers even more. So once all 4 items have been created, and as you can see we have not here, so we're going to say just present this message of thank you. We can then add our new form. So the photo booth operator creates the form and gives you a link to the form, including a short code and a QR code for your marketing material. If we go and take a look at what that form looks like, you'll see there it is, just as our preview looked, and 960 pixels wide. We can return to our form templates. You'll see there is our new form. It has been created today, submitted 0 times, and then our usual options. We had a previous form that was deployed. It had been submitted 19 times, and we did that on purpose to show you what that would look like. So if you click the little magnifying view detail, the booth operator brings you up a list of the submissions, including what form, name, email, phone number, when they submitted, and then options for you. And let's go through those. You can view the details. So it gives you extreme details on what was submitted based on your information. We could send an email to this individual if they provided an email. If they did not, that option will not be there. We could send a text to this individual if they provided a phone number. If not, it will not be there. And we can remove it as well. Let's return to the form templates. One word of caution: when deleting a form template, you also delete all of the submitted results. So if you're going to delete one of your forms, just keep in mind that all the results will also be deleted.